Welcome everyone to the Virtualy Rek't podcast. I am Nvidia VR, formerly known as Surjical Gaming, and today we have a guest called Stty. He is from Brazil, and he's come along to tell us about everything VR in his country.
What up? I'm hearing you from somewhere else. But
we can hear him from somewhere else as
yeah,
well.
okay. What up? What's
Hey,
up?
how you
How
doing,
are
mate?
you guys? Let me just. Okay.
How you doing, Stty? You
Sorry.
good, mate? Yeah,
Sorry for
you're
that.
good. Yeah.
I'm good.
And then
I'm good,
we
I'm good.
have VR, and we have Shui from
Oh.
PowerOn.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Right.
So what's everyone?
Yeah,
Done.
let's get the important things out of the way. What are you drinking?
What
So-
am I drinking? What am I drinking? I am on different things. I'm on some weird blood orange IPA,
Oh, that sounds
Um,
nice.
which is delicious, but I'm also on something super summery and fruity. I'm on some sort of like weird lots of fruit cider. So it's gonna be a fruity night.
I'm feeling fruity too.
I think Sty's on the water because he's sensible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surgical is on Highland Spring, and Mac in VR
yeah.
scraped through the fridge and found some Peroni.
Scraped through the fridge.
Yeah, I don't get paid till
Ugh.
Wednesday, so I had to sort of scrape around in the Mac fridge.
Okay then. So right, let's tell you what. Let's Sty's obviously like the big thing on the podcast tonight. So do you want to introduce yourself, man? Like, what do you do? Where do you come from? What's your deal? And yeah, we'll go from there, man.
Okay. So as you said, I'm called Stty. That's my nickname. I'm from Brazil, and I'm a content creator for VR, and also starting on game development for VR. I'm studying and doing some tests because I have a game developing background. And what I'm doing on YouTube right now is that I run a podcast like Joe Rogan style in VR chat, and I've had Surge there or Indie VR there, and I've had Mac there once as well. And yeah, that's it. That's everything.
That's cool, man. Because I haven't actually like this is literally the first time we've met. Like we've been on the
Yeah.
call for maybe 20 minutes. But obviously you
Yeah.
know these guys and you've interacted with these guys. But yeah, it's cool to have you on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
Oh.
needed somebody with hair who was a bit better looking than all of us.
Yeah, just to even it out, because now that we've got like we've had sort of half hair and half no hair, and now we've ended up with Serge has obviously joined the podcast and he's got the beard at least, so he's sort of filling in from like the nose down. But we need somebody else
Yeah.
just to balance us out a
Currently, I
bit more.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
So the
Give us a
question is then, right? I'll start with Serge because I want to talk to you about what game you've been playing or what games you've been playing this week.
Okay, the past week I have played Ultimex playtest,
Mm-hmm.
which is like kind of like Rocket League in VR.
Yeah.
I've played Punchy VR, which is like a Vietnam shooter kind of game.
Yeah, so I watched your live stream. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I've been playing Downfast, which is a downhill mountain biking game with stunts and all that kind of stuff. So giving away a couple of keys for that in the stream today. So we get the old Wheel of Faith or Fortune. What's it called?
The Wheel of
Names.
The Wheel of Names. Yeah. So basically, it'll be Weeble
The Wheel of
and Maniac
Names.
Psycho.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, just continue playing Sail as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I've been playing. Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Sty? Have you been playing much this week?
Yeah, I've been playing Sail as well, a little bit, just to know the game a little and get to know it, because I'm going to talk with the developers today. So I wanted to know a little bit of the game first. And I've played Beat Saber because we just had the fourth national Beat Saber tournament in Brazil,
Okay.
the fourth Brazilian Beat Saber tournament, and I participated. I lost in the first match, but but I've been there playing, and also I think for VR, Echo VR. I played Echo VR.
Oh, right, okay. I've never actually I played
That's always
I
me.
played Lone Echo and Lone Echo 2, but I've never actually played the competitive side of it.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun.
Yeah.
You should play it.
Shuey?
You know what? I've actually played next to Naffle VR this week. I just literally have not had time.
Yeah.
To the point where today I've written a script and I've sorted out for tonight, and that's basically all I've had time to do. I did play some Ultimex. I tried it out with our friend Clickster over at Fun with the Clicks, and we had an absolute blast. I destroyed him, and I made him feel really bad for it because he'd already played like several hours before I jumped on with him.
Because you're not competitive at all, are you?
Because I'm not competitive. This is the thing. I really enjoyed Ultimex. Actually, I was surprised. It's obviously everyone's toting it as the new Rocket League type game. I still don't think that it did as good a job as Knock. I think Knock is much faster and makes you feel more into it, but it is so much better for people who get a bit more VR sickness or aren't as easily like jumping around and floating up the walls and things. The only other game that I tried was Nerf. I got early access to Nerf VR.
Yeah.
Or Ultimate Championship, I think it's called. It's super slow paced, but in a weirdly fast way. Because like all of the guns are like they're Nerf guns. They're slow. They're not like fast paced weaponry. They're not like super long range either. So everything's very mid to close range.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Right. What I've been playing is I got access to the Nerf Ultimate Championship beta, but they sent me the email. I didn't have a time on it. It had like you know playtest you need to be ready an hour before playtest will begin at, and it was just blank. And I like.
So Sorry, God.
I was like contacting the people on Twitter, and I'm like, look, I've got access, but I don't know what time. And in the end, I missed the 2 playtests. I have a key for Ultimex. I haven't played it yet, but I've mostly been playing this last 2 weeks Red Matter 2, which is so good. In my review, I actually said the only thing I think it had a problem with was that it didn't have any replayability. And then I streamed it twice and had an absolute blast. So I'm talking out my ass. Just go to show you, I don't know what I'm talking about. And the Half-Life 2 mod, VR mod. That is so good. That is so good. You've played it. PowerOn, you've played it, haven't you?
Yep.
And Surge has played it.
Yeah, I've got like one stream left.
I haven't.
Just the last 2 hours.
We're trying. Well, it's coming out on September the 16th on Steam, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
So you can go and wishlist it now. The devs are running a competition on Twitter to get a key to get a week's early access. But it will be free. All you need to do is own a copy of Half-Life 2. There you go. So that's what I've been playing this week.
That's really perfect. That is releasing on Steam because it's so easy to download a mod on Steam.
Yeah, because we had the developers in our chat, me and Serge, when we were live streaming, and they actually weren't sure whether they're going to have to put it on itch.io or whatever it's called.
Itchy eye hole.
Itchy eye hole, yeah. Itchy cornhole. That's another game which we need to talk about. But no, they've got the full Steam release, so they've got Valve's backing, which I think is amazing. Go on, Valve.
Yeah. They had Valve's backing anyway, didn't they? Wasn't there a legal dispute elsewhere that they were having problems with?
Yeah, and that's why they didn't know whether they were going to release it on Steam. But no, it must have been solved. Maybe Gabe Newell just came round to the 2 solicitors involved and just went bonk with his big meaty hands and sorted it out. Right, yes, that's what I've been playing.
I really enjoyed Half-Life when I tried it out. I almost quit out of it very early on because I couldn't work out I don't think I remembered that Half-Life had a jump mechanic.
And you couldn't get out the window.
I couldn't get out of the bloody window.
I know.
I couldn't get on top of the box. And I sat there for nearly 20 minutes until I was like, did games used to have a jump mechanic? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was stuck, and then until Mac jumped on my stream and said, "Oh, you click this button." So yeah, I had the same problem. I was live streaming. I was there for about 5 minutes.
And that's weird because Half-Life always had like a little platforming sections in the game.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I did the same thing because I played it before I live streamed it so I could get used to the controls. And then, like I said, I was there like for 10 minutes going, well, I've done that, so I have to go out there. And I was like, wow. So in the end, I contacted the developer on Discord, and I was like, I'm being a bit stupid, but I can't get out the window. And he went, the jump button. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It wasn't until I started going through like the settings, being like, there's something I'm not doing here.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. And I was like, hang on, there's a jump key.
Fucking hell.
Because you don't have a space bar. Like without a space bar,
right,
you just don't imagine that you do any jumping.
But it is really well implemented into VR. I mean, you've got to remember it's an 18-year-old game, so it's there are some mechanics in the game which are a little bit sort of old school. But when I was talking to Wormslayer, he actually said it was almost as if the game was developed for VR with VR in mind because it was so easy to port. Well, easy to port.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed myself. I think it's great what they've done. I would love to see them. Does anyone know if they're doing episodes 1 and 2?
They are.
Yeah,
there
eventually
plans
they
for
will.
that?
Yeah. Once they polish this off, they're going to do episode 1 and 2. Yeah.
And then we can all, just like we did 18 years ago, get to the end of episode 2 and then cry ourselves to sleep that night.
Yeah, because we know that 18 years have passed and episode 3 hasn't come out.
Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, I'll take either.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah.
I saw something about some kind of recently, past couple of days, something leaked with Half-Life 3. I don't know. Someone needs to check that.
I know what this is. It's a non-Valve sequel.
Oh yes, no, it's you're playing as one of the Combine troops.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's. Are you in Black Mesa or you're actually in City 17? I can't remember, but yeah,
I think you're in City 17. As far as I remember, but yeah, no, it's non-Valve. I did because I got caught out by the clickbait title of Half-Life 3 as well, and like the little child inside of me went, "Click it, Shmoopie."
It is for the same.
You know it's gonna be good.
It is from the same developers that did the Black Mesa unofficial remake.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it is.
All right, that should be cool.
It's a question. It's a question.
Oh,
It's a question.
Welcome to the Misinformation Podcast.
spreading misinformation like bullshit. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to my chat because there's a lot going on. We got Jonathan Badger, Blue Bottles, Clueless Dad, Razol VR. They're having a conversation about Knock. PowerOn's here, obviously. Nebadoo, hello, mate. Jonathan Badger. Yeah. Chat's going well.
About Knock is a really closer experience to Rocket League because I'm a huge Rocket League player. So I've played like 600 hours of Rocket League, you know.
All right. So
and like the one important factor, I think the most important factor of Rocket League is the physicality of your body and the ball and the way you interact with it. And Knock has gone really closer than what I've seen from MechWarriors.
Yeah,
from Rocket League.
You need to play Power On then because he's a Knock.
I
ninja.
love Knock. I don't play it as often as I would like to, and playing against the pros because I've played against number 1 and 2 ranked players for some videos a few months back, and they hand me my ass. Like it's ridiculous how quick and how amazing their aim is. But yeah, I love it. So if you want to jump on at any point, give us a shout. I do just have to point out, Rezol has just donated $20 in the super chat. for the fellow with hair to shave it off so that you can all match. Right.
No, no.
Right. So which fella are we on about? Because I don't match. I'm assuming you mean me, Rezol. I
No,
have a
no.
reasonable amount of hair,
I
and
I
it
think
would be a minimum $500. I would shave it live for $500, but it would be a minimum $500.
I think they're talking about Stty because his hair is a bit more obvious than yours.
It's
Yeah.
bloody gorgeous, his hair.
I asked him, yeah, I asked him, and he was on someone's podcast. I asked him to ask him what shampoo he uses.
Amazing.
Me, I use soap because like my face goes from here all the way back to the back of my neck.
Yeah, yeah.
So at least I've got more face than everybody.
I don't know when your neck, when your, I forgot what
Forehead.
you call this. When your forehead ends, like on your butt or something like that.
No, unfortunately, all the hair on my head fell off and landed on my back, and then started growing on my back
Okay,
instead.
okay.
So
So there's where you ended.
But no, thank you very much, Rezol.
Thank you,
It is
Rezol.
Super appreciated, man.
Thanks,
cheers,
buddy.
man. Thank you very much.
I just want to point out that Fun with the Clicks. Who was it? It was Blue Bottle said you could have bought them wigs with that.
Hold on.
Fun with the Clicks was like, it's got to be a wig. No one has amazing hair like that. That's how good your hair is, Stty, apparently.
What? No.
Remember those Timotei adverts?
Yeah.
When they did
Oh,
hair in the street.
Mac has grown some hair.
It's surprising how good that looks on Mac's head. Like,
Listen-
I'm not shitting you. It genuinely looks kind of good.
Oh my god, he looks like a pedo in the park.
It should fit a little bit more. It just looks like a dead animal.
Hold on.
in your head.
It's like a pubic hair wig.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It kind of makes him look like a sort of a German cannibal. It's...
There you go. How's that? There you go, Rezol. That's your 20 quid well spent, mate.
Oh, I really wanted to take it off. It's making me super uncomfortable.
You know, actually a bit salt and pepper. I quite like it actually. So that's basically the wind sock from my my podcast mic. Oh, I've lost control.
Oh
of my
god,
mic.
that was awful.
Right, we've been podcasting for 20
minutes.
20 minutes. We haven't even talked about anything that we should be talking
Okay,
about.
well let's talk
I
about
think
a
that's a
thing then.
magic of mine.
Right, the first thing I'd like to talk about is and we did talk about it, Sergi. You are now Indie VR. Can you give some idea about the difference, the reasoning behind it? Sorry.
Okay. Well, I started off streaming on Twitch with Population 1. Got an alright amount of followers. Then I went onto YouTube. Continued Population 1. It was alright. And then for my channel growth and that. Then I did After the Fall, and that was better for my channel growth. And then I started streaming RFVR, and then kind of people subscribed because of that. And then I thought to myself, let me see what happens. And I was doing indie games and stuff, and then more people are interested.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people are interested in that side of things
Yeah.
because of AAA titles are like few and far between, especially at the moment.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, so I started streaming. I got in touch with devs in like giveaways and stuff, and then I started talking to different devs, and I just thought, why don't I just make my channel about indie games,
Yeah.
but still, do the old Population 1 stream. After the Fall, I'm always going to make content when something drops, because that's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
But then we concentrate more on indie games, because people like yourself and Shui, you guys do like the bigger games as well, and just everybody does like Red Matter. If you type in Red Matter, or just my whole, without typing it in the day it came out,
Yeah.
there was about 50 videos just come like blanketing my whole page, and I was like, well, people want to see indie games. If I can build a network of indie developers, and I work in sales. So my main goal is to speak to all these developers, help promote their games, get them on podcast,
Yeah.
and then find things through speakers. It's early days, but find commonalities and stuff like that, and then kind of help them out with how to maximize their sales and wish lists and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's basically why I changed my name to Indie VR. I did it just like out of no. Well, I did
Yeah.
speak to you, Mac, about it a while back, and then I was thinking about it, and then one day I spoke to a dev, and I brought it up to them again, and then well, if that's what your gut's telling you to do, then just do it. And then I just said, right, I'm doing it. So I just did it. Got some stuff up, which is just like temporary logos and all that stuff. And then my cousin knocked up my new logo, my new background, my new banner. He made that all for me. So, and that's it, man. The only thing that I've changed literally everything. Yeah. So like just everything I've changed, like every platform I'm on. And I've just been talking to devs, and obviously it's a two-way relationship because I'm not charging nothing for this, but I'm going to ask you questions about what you're doing and some things about numbers and stuff, and then I won't give people your figures unless you want me to, or I could just not give the figures and just I just need numbers and stuff from people so I can kind of get it all together and be like, right, this seems to work and this is what will be best. And I've always done sales training and made sales guides and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, right, I can use my skills for my sales skills and networking skills and my passion for VR as well, and put it to good use.
So would you say this started with RFVR then, because that was like your first big indie game, wasn't it?
Yeah, RFVR was the first time I actually went into a game, and then I met with the devs. They're super cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were just talking about the game, and we were going back and forth, and I was talking about making a video, and then I made a video, we met up, and their demo was coming up.
Yeah.
And I just said to them, I said, your trailer's great, but I think what we need is like an action trailer, because that's a great trailer for showing the whole game. But I thought just a quick action trailer, and you've seen the trailer that I did.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, cheers, mate. And then I did the next trailer as well, which is the EA trailer. So I thought, so why not do that for other developers? Like, just make a trailer. Takes, maybe 10 hours, maybe. And then, I'll just be like, I'll do it for free. Just help get indie developers to have better quality trailers and stuff. I'm not saying I'm the best trailer maker in the world, but there are some terrible trailers out there on Steam.
Yeah.
So
there are.
I was like, yeah.
I tell you what, I'm doing the a video this week on like just the games that are coming out in September, and about half of those are indie level games, let's call them.
Yeah.
And their trailers, I'm not going to point out names because I don't want to be harsh, because the games look pretty cool, in all honesty, if you actually look further into them. Their trailers are garbage, man.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see, because like they obviously want to get their game out there, whether it be free to play or whether it be paid for. They obviously want people to interact with it, and the trailers are so bad.
Well, there you go.
It hurts me.
There you go, Stty. When you finish your video game in VR, get Surge to do your trailer.
Okay.
I agree with like Shuri. It is, and that's, I'm not contacting people that have bad trailers. I'm just gonna contact whoever, but I'm not gonna say your trailer's crap. I'm just gonna offer to do a trailer. But then some people might have a trailer and it's a good trailer. Some people might have a trailer and think it's the best trailer in the world when it isn't, or it might just be. So there's different variations, right? So I can only like offer advice and see what people say from there.
Yeah, so in my chat, Results made a good point there. He says, devs are generally very kind and generous. A few are arses. But overall, most devs and community managers are typically very kind and willing to work with most creators. This is a good point because, as you know, I went down to Soul Assembly 2 weeks ago to see their game. And I walked through the door. Bearing in mind, I've got like 13,000 subs, like relatively small channel. I walked through the door and there was like Nazy, 700,000 subscribers. There was Carlos from Ugon Virtual, over 1 million subscribers. Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis,
You're still
700.
giggling about that, aren't you?
Honestly, I was like, I walked in, I was like, what the bloody hell am I doing here? But the developers didn't treat anybody any differently. You know, there was guys there with channels that were in the hundreds. There was a guy there with channels in the 4,000, much like yourself, Shuey, and they didn't get treated any different. You know, it was just like Rezol said, they're just really nice people.
Yeah. I have. Sometimes you reach out to Dev and then they don't get back to you. It's just like anything. Same as sales. It's just a numbers game. And sometimes some people are really wary and think, oh, this guy just wants early access to my game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you just got to kind of get a feel for the person.
Yeah.
And then some people want. Yep.
Sorry, Karen.
No, you Karen.
Do you know what's really odd? That I spent some time during the beta access for Nerf, right? And I spent most of that not playing the game, but speaking to the developers because they were in the lobby with me. And one of the developers called Alt, who's a super nice guy, he was running me through, and because I'm a bit of a Nerf nerd anyway, like I like Nerf guns as blasters. If you read through their stuff, like, oh god, some of my videos are not being sponsored by Nerf specifically because I used certain language, not swear words, mind you, language. But no, they are even though Nerf as a brand is by Hasbro, and that's obviously huge, the actual studio is tiny that's making it.
All right.
There's like 5 people, I think, working on that game. So they're essentially an indie studio that's gotten hold of what is essentially a AAA title.
Yeah.
And have tried to really go for it. So it was a bit of a, I don't know, I want to use like cognitive dissonance, I think. Like I was trying to speak to them like they were a very large dev, but they are a very small team. And consequently, like all of them were jumping in and playing with us because I was playing with Gamertag. And it was super fun, you know, playing with GT and just drop that. If you watch the video, man, I dropped that name so many times. It was so nice because I'd never played with GT before. And so DiegoDarko's just pointed out as well. Gamertag VR got his vid taken down because he said bullets and guns. Yeah, because Hasbro has specifically said that any of the content being made using this, they don't want you mentioning bullets, they don't want you mentioning guns, and that's kind of the same as in the real world with Nerf. Like the actual people that get together and play Nerf together, they refer to them as blasters and darts, or balls, or like even rockets. Even though you have like really really fat blaster darts, they don't refer to them as any of that. Like they want to move as far away from guns and shooting as possible.
Yeah.
To the point where I got approached by the VR Athletics League, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to make some videos?" And I was like, "Yeah, that would be sweet. I've already got some made." And they were like, "Cool, we'll sponsor them. Here's what you can't do." And so I sent them my videos I'd made, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you need to edit this because it has the word run and gun." And I was like, that's a terminology thing. That's got nothing to do with the actual blaster. That's got nothing to do with the ammunition. Run and gun is used in multiple different scenarios that's got nothing to do with a game like this. And the other thing she wanted me to do is not call it a shooter.
Really?
It's an FPS game.
It's a first person blaster, an FPB game.
I was blown away. I was like, I don't actually want your money.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
I'd rather just do my own videos where I can use not swearing, but just like generalized accepted terminology.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's nothing on them. Obviously, this has come from Hasbro. Hasbro are the ones that have been like super. This is our law we're doing here. So I understand. It's nothing against Virtual Athletics League. I think they're a fantastic group of people. They do some really cool stuff. But yeah, no, that was super weird. Trying to sort of navigate that really large company down to this really small indie developer. Yeah, really odd, man.
It must be frustrating for them as well, because like even look at Gamertag's video. How many thousands does he get of views on average, and yourself, and like just anyone? And it's just like Do you think like if you put that video up, Shimmy, and it got taken down, would you go through the effort of all right, let me chop this bit out and then kind of change those bits, or would you just be like, oh, forget this?
Right, so here's the thing, Mac, you've done it as well. There was a video that both of us did with this where it got didn't it get copyrighted at one point, and we like the whole community did, and you decided to chop something out of yours, didn't you?
It was World of Mechs. They had some
That was it.
They had some licensed music in it, and they didn't realize. So basically, a video of mine which did quite well, I actually had to chop that section out using the YouTube edit function.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I mean that was a complete mistake on their part. They apologized for it afterwards, but yeah, it's so like that video I made about porn in VR. That initially got not demonetized, but it got ad revenue restricted. Yeah. And this is so funny. I made 69p. I just thought the number was brilliant. 69. I was like, genius. But actually since then the monetization of that has been, I think somebody must have reviewed it and said, well, there's no pornography in it. There's no naked women in it. It's just him talking about Bluetooth masturbation tools. So now that video is fully monetized and it's done all right. It's on about 40,000 views, I think, at the moment. So yeah.
So there's 40,000 perverted VR headset owners out there.
You would not.
Oh, that's a low ball, mate.
That's
not low ball, isn't it?
I got so many weird messages and emails from guys who were saying, "Oh, you need to talk about this. You need to talk about that." I was like, I'd read the message and then go and wash my hands. It was like,
oh, give us examples.
Oh, well, okay. So, there's like two porn VR news sites. So that's not porn in VR. It's porn news sites. And I was like looking on them because I'm thinking about doing another video to follow up. Basically, you can buy these Bluetooth sex toys, right? And then you get a subscription to a VR porn website, and then you tell them what toys you have, and it syncs the movement of the toy to what's going on screen. So this is the teledildonics thing that we were talking about. That's a fucking great word, that, mind.
I love that word.
Love that. I actually looked at it. I was like, no, that can't be a real word. And I looked it up. It's like, come up on Wikipedia, teledildonics, the use of Bluetooth sex toys.
That's a word. That's what?
That is a word.
When we started this podcast, I specifically said, right, that this is my favorite word of all time, is that particular word, because it's so good. It's got the word dildo in it because that's, why not? It's just like the old like telephones and television. Like it's really giving that sort of sense of technology into the dildonics. It's fantastic.
Okay, I think that's my new English favorite word.
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. So, what in further investigation? I mean, it doesn't apply to me because I live at home with my wife. But if you're in a long distance relationship, you can actually buy these sex toys and they link to your phone, and then you can have a sex chat with your partner, and they control the sex toy via Bluetooth. So you could be in Brazil. La la la. Yeah, so
what are you talking about, Mac? I'm doing that right now with Stty.
Oh, that's why he's smiling.
Trailer. It's an advert for these sex toys.
I thought he was looking happy. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing a follow-up video. I don't know how that's going to go because you can go down a rabbit hole there. But yeah. Sorry, we're talking about demonetization and Nerf and how the hell we got onto sex toys, and I don't know. Teledildonics. Yeah, there you go. He loves that word.
It's a fantastic word. But it is. So yeah, let's what was this originally about?
You were talking about Nerf, and
we were talking about the rebrand.
Yeah.
Okay. We went from Nerf to specifically something that
it's not
Hasbro would demonetize the video for. Oh,
Give me the
Nerf blasters that shoot dildos. There's
Ah,
there'll
Nerf,
be a
I'm
mod.
sure-
There'll
I'm
be
sure
a
someone's
mod.
done
no,
that,
they're
yeah.
not.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
they didn't say anything about the word dildo
No.
specifically.
Yeah.
Dildo blast. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, what they do is they fire
Oh, hang on. Sty,
penis-shaped rockets.
your other account has just dropped, mate, and it's made
Yeah,
all of-
my notebook just the battery ran out. I'm
Oh,
just looking
okay.
at-
I'm
That's-
gonna need to redo my entire setup.
What?
Yeah, because right, you can actually hide the non-video feeds. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
did.
didn't do. I didn't do that
Okay.
because I assumed it would just be
no.
there. No, it's fine, man.
Sorry.
You guys carry on talking. I'll be like 2 minutes.
So,
Sorry.
what headset? I can see is that a Quest in the background there, Sty? Yeah.
Yes, that's a question.
Okay,
With
so
the Kiwi Elite strap, not the Oculus one.
that's
the metal
is that the
one.
Kiwi one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good strap. That. So did you have to sign in with your Facebook account in Brazil, the same as everybody else?
Yes.
You did.
Yes, and Facebook is not very used in Brazil, so I just get my account that I didn't use for 3 years to
Yeah.
sign on, and then didn't use it anymore.
Yeah. It's so have you transitioned to the Meta account now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
there's no need
have.
for Facebook. So just in case you're unaware, last week on the day that Gamescom started, which is really hilarious because all of the VR creators who took their quests to Gamescom found that they had to sign up to this new Meta account while they were at Gamescom waiting on the floor to play video games because it happened to Mike from VRO and he absolutely spat his... the most angry man in the world, he proper spat his dummy out. Yeah, so it takes about 2 minutes to unlink your account. It briefly screwed up my Oculus app on my phone. It took me about a day to get signed back in, but yeah, that is done now. So no more getting banned from Facebook.
Yeah, that's weird.
From
I'm still.
saying, what was it? Sell your kidney? Was that?
Yeah, sell a kidney. That got me banned. Fuck. Crazy.
I actually mentioned that story in a TikTok video that I did the other week,
All right.
and I specifically put it in there as a joke, and I got a lot of hate on that TikTok video.
Really?
Yeah, because they were just like, "Oh, Facebook isn't that bad. You're just a whiny little bitch." And I'm just like, "Okay, then, sure." But that joke that I made, that wasn't off the cuff. That's a real thing that happened to a real content creator.
Yeah.
Because he mentioned selling a kidney for the ability to buy a car. Like, that's how stupid these fucking algorithms are.
Yeah. Oh, we're nearly there, sir. We're nearly there, Shuey. We're nearly there.
I can see
Yeah.
my face
Oh.
being chopped up.
So, yeah. So that's done now. So,
I apologise for how big your head is, Serge. It's just going to have to be like that one for the rest of the stream, mate.
Be like that guy from that film Mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what was I going to say? Yeah. So I played Population 1, and it's basically I can't log into the app on my phone, and it's not letting me use the app on the PC
yeah.
unless I do that thing. But I can still play Population 1, so I'm just. I guess, yeah, I would have to. I'm still technically with Facebook then, aren't I? So I
Yeah.
should really unlink it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, but I mean, it was like they made the decision 2 years ago. It's taken them 2 years to unlink, and I mean, I made a video because I got banned, and that got a lot of feedback from a lot of other people who were saying, "Well, how did you get unbanned?" Excuse me. So, in a way, that video was positive because a lot of people contacted me, said, "I've been banned. How did you get your account back?" So I told them how to do it. A lot of people got their accounts back, but now that is in the past, and we are so happy.
Yes.
And now that Shuey has sorted his stream out, I know Serge has gone to get small. I've gone big.
Yeah, no, I've changed you all round, right? Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with how things are now. That's how life is for the
That's how
rest
life
of
is
this
now.
podcast.
I'm just a little bobblehead.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, man. I could have sorted it out sooner and I just didn't.
Rezol's just asked a question in the chat. He says, does anyone know if you decide to stay with FB, if your account gets banned, does it affect your Quest 2 games?
I'm
Good-
sure
It
Good
will
question.
do, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
will.
guarantee you.
I guarantee it will, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because then if
Just
you...
get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Well, we strange enough, we were talking about this on a call the other day, weren't we, Serge? Because if you're focusing on indie games, then you should really get involved in App Lab.
Mm-hmm.
But that means getting a Quest.
Yes.
So is that something you would consider?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot
he
of
didn't sound
indie.
certain.
There's a lot of other indie games that aren't Quest, but obviously, put it this way: on my channel, if I started doing Quest 2 stuff and put Quest 2 in the title, I'd probably get a shit ton more followers and whatever views and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which I don't do, because you know how I feel about the Oculus. So it's like Mac is trying to convince me to sell my soul and get the Quest 2 again.
I'm just trying to help your channel, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think at least you should get some Android device because lots of the games developed today need to be developed to Android because Quest 2 is the bigger platform and everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
And then we got like Pico is coming, so I think you should consider at least some Android device because most of the games are made for that platform right now.
Just to put
Yeah.
my 2 cents in as well, actually, Serge.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? Your MIM index, like that's getting up there. That's sort of lower or upper middle class of the headsets. And most indie developers, you know, they're poor lowly souls. That they don't have much money. They can even afford an index. So I think just, you know, for solidarity, you should get yourself a Quest 2.
Well, to be honest, I have had a few games that I said to try test out, and then I'd say index controller support, and then oh no, we haven't got that yet. So yeah, I'd have to get a Quest 2 if I'm going to do App Lab stuff and all that kind of stuff. Because as far as I know, Pico doesn't have App Lab, does it? I've never heard of it.
No.
Like
No,
that
it
similar
doesn't,
kind of
it
thing.
doesn't have access.
But to the side quest games, I think most of the side quest games have a page on itch.io that you can download the APK to install in any Android device.
So you could run it on Pico.
Yeah, I think you could for the way that it works, but the game needs to get you need to get an access to the APK of the game. Usually in side quest, most of the games get the itch.io page, but not all of them.
Okay.
So maybe
Right. Okay.
Are
Yeah.
the controllers for Pico pretty much identical to the Quest?
Hold on.
The reason I ask is because obviously that'll be the thing, won't it? Is most of the side quest games are going to be made for Quest, and even if you can get the APK, it's the controller support problem again.
Yeah. Basically, that is the Pico controller. So, if you ignore the fact that the ring is above or in a different position, you have grip, trigger, AB, joystick. Then you have the Pico button, which would be like the Oculus button. But there is actually a hidden button here. I don't know whether you can see. There is actually another hidden button. You can just about see it, can't you?
Yeah.
And that is the back button, but it can be used for something else. So yeah, I mean, if the game works with the Quest controller, it'll work with the Pico controller. There's no difference. Okay. But that's something I need to look into then, actually. Sorry, Jonathan Badger said the Pico now has virtual desktop.
Okay.
Which is really nice of Guy Godden to get back at me, because I did specifically say to him that I wanted him to tell me when it was going to release, and I wanted a pre-release copy so that I could try it out, and he just ignored me, even after all the videos I've made. Yeah, bugger. I love Guy Godden, but virtual desktop on the Pico could be a massive game changer, because basically Pico's so fiddly to use with Steam VR.
Yeah, just make a video, mate. Do it. Get it out there before someone else does.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are saying in the chat to get a second-hand Quest 2. Somebody give me a Quest 2. That'd be better. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I've got to get a PS5 or PS VR2 in about 6 months as well.
Oh, good point, because that is something we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So
good segue.
wait, whoop.
Hey, how I did that.
It's almost as if we're professionals. So, what has happened is the Quest 2 went up in price just before they brought in the Meta accounts by $100. So the 128 is now £400 ish, and the 256 is now £500. So Pico can undercut them. But PlayStation announced that they were putting the price of their console up. And that's the first time in history that's actually happened. That something that released so long ago, a year and a half ago, like a mainstream console has actually gone up in price. So I wonder if they'll get as much shit as Meta did.
Yeah, that's something interesting because specifically in Brazil, it hasn't gone up in price.
Yeah, but
It
tell
stayed the
everyone
same
about how much it cost in Brazil.
Yeah, yeah, because if it was to get up in price, nobody was going to buy it. It is expensive. For people that don't know, in Brazil, technology is really expensive. Usually, you get the dollar price or the euro price, and you multiply it by 10, and that's the price that we're gonna pay
Oh,
in our coin. Just like the PS5, 450, right? In Brazil, it's 4,500 reais.
45. Yeah,
And what's the
So-
average wage for the month? You said the minimum wage is 12, was it?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah. So you need to work
So it's 4 months.
4 months
Hey.
without
Yeah,
there's no food,
yeah.
no
Yeah.
rent, nothing.
when
Holy shit.
when Stty interviewed
and-
me and we talked about it, I was absolutely, because you said like food is cheap,
Yeah.
but like technology is just like,
Yeah, so and forgot what I was about to talk about.
sorry.
Quest 2? Oh.
No. I was about to talk about the price and the price tag of things, but I don't remember what I would talk about. So you can move on.
Welcome to the Dementia
remember-
Podcast.
Yeah.
We have
Didn't
this
take
problem all the
long.
time. I forget what I'm talking about halfway through a sentence sometimes.
That is a good point, actually. Mr. Van Leer in my chat has said, surely it's cheaper to fly and buy and fly back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked about it in the last podcast in my channel with Consus Corner was the guest, and it is cheaper to fly to the United States, buy the PS5 and the Cambria there, and then come back,
Bloody
than
hell.
buying it
Wow.
from here.
Jonathan, Slow Coach in my chat just said sell a kidney. Dude, that is not funny. That's actually that's really funny, but no, it's not funny.
I'm starting to think that I need to start a business where I just buy PS5s on Facebook Marketplace and then fly over to Brazil and make my yearly pay.
What you can do, buy them off Facebook, send them to Stty. Stty can sell them, and then you can split the profit. There you go. You got a business.
Then
Yeah, for
the price of the PS5, like I remember what I was about to say. If I'm not mistaken, Brazil is the 4th biggest gaming country in the world, if I'm not mistaken. Still with this price up. We just do what we can to buy the consoles and play the games because everyone loves it. It's a big thing here still, even with this price. So yeah, we do this like we need to work for 4 months, and then we don't pay rent, we don't pay food, we don't pay the bills just to buy a PS5, and that's not something we can do. But we can work all year to buy a PS5. That's usually what happens here. That's my year goal of buying something. I want to buy my only objective this year in respect to buy things, it's to buy the PS5. That's what people do in here, you know.
Okay. Yeah, bloody hell, that's so expensive. Crikey.
Well, it is when you consider that it's then going to be $9,000 to buy the PS5 and the PSVR
PSVR 2,
2
yes.
before the price hike.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's insane.
It is insane. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
That's why people don't use the index in Brazil.
Oh, the price is
Uh,
crazy, isn't it?
yes, it is. I think I know like 1, 2 people that use it in Brazil, and I'm all around the community in Brazil with VR. So yeah, that's not usually that's not a usual VR headset in here.
Yeah.
No.
And the
Yeah.
store is like, tell everyone about how the store works. Is it subsidized like the games, or is it that's the same dollar amount as everyone else?
Yeah, it depends on the store.
Mhm.
In Steam, in the Steam store, the games are with regional price. Like they scale the price down for we to buy it. So like a $60 game doesn't the price of it comes down to like $40 in Brazil. That's the
Okay.
comparison, 40, $30. So in Steam, but in the PlayStation Store and Xbox Store, normally the games are at like 300 reais. That's the conversion from the price tag. So that's usually what happens. And EA, Ubisoft, and that big companies just don't translate the price even in Steam. They just let the price there. PlayStation as well. The PlayStation games came at a really high price.
Yeah.
In Brazil, people in Brazil are have the culture of playing cracked games because of it. Because we can't buy one game per month. You
Yeah.
know, we can't play. We can't every month buy a game, and we want to play a game every month. So that the cracked game culture, the piracy culture
Yeah.
is high.
I can
It's
imagine, yeah.
really in Brazil.
As soon as you hike the price, then obviously people are gonna do that, aren't they? Because yeah, crikey. That is one
Yeah,
thing that
that
concerns me about PlayStation 5 actually with the PSVR 2 is that console games are friggin' expensive.
Yep.
Jeez.
You can't get. I mean, I've found a few PS5 keys, right, where you don't have to have a separate account, and you can actually get the game, not legit, but you can get the game in, like you own it. But for consoles, it's hard. PlayStation is the worst.
Yeah.
Nintendo as well. Xbox you can, because Xbox has a lot of keys you can find
Yeah.
knocking around, but nowhere near as finding a cheap Steam key. Because Steam,
Yeah.
you can get games for like a couple of quid that are like normally 20, 30 quid. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just moving
yeah.
my light out the way so I can see the.
Yeah. So another thing that Mr. Van Leer pointed out is it not a thing where you could just VPN the games in Brazil?
VPN how did I just buy outside of Brazil the games?
Yeah, basically. So VPN into
Yeah.
say the UK and just purchase through the UK system. Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
but it wasn't going to help because the problem is that the price for you guys that's like 60, 70 for AAA games of consoles or like $30 for VR games. It is a high price in Brazil. Just in this base like $30 in Brazil, the conversion is for 150 reais.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, no, I understand now.
Yeah. So like Oculus games, Oculus Store, we can only buy the games in dollar. So Beat Saber in the Oculus stores, like I think it's $20, $25, something like that. It is like 100 reais in Brazil, and it is half the price in Steam because they do a regional price. They lower the price
Right.
so that
Okay.
people can buy it.
So
Okay.
we,
Yeah.
we yeah we need to use the VPN and buy the games from
Games
Brazil.
in Brazil, yeah.
That's what we need to do.
Blue Bottle's just made a good point there. He said, like, could you get somebody to gift you a game? Like in the UK, you could
I
do that.
think
Couldn't you?
I could. I
Yeah.
think yes. I think it could work. I'm not sure. Like if you could get someone to give to a game from United States to Europe, some country in Europe, you
Yeah.
can do it from Brazil to another country.
Yeah, I mean, I've HB program. Obviously, he's Russian, so they're struggling a bit at the moment. So I've actually gifted him a couple of games because he's my friend. I
Okay,
want to play with him.
yeah,
So
you can.
yeah. So
But that's something you could do.
Yeah.
If you guys want to buy a game on Steam, just send me the money and I'll buy
Yeah.
them on a lower
That's,
price.
yeah. We talked about this when I interviewed Stty on my podcast, and we talked about all kinds of illegal stuff. So, and that's not really illegal, but yeah,
that's
we're
just you,
thinking-
Serge.
I was going to say, like, as just from a Virtually Rek't perspective, putting a nice little warning on it. We don't condone piracy.
Don't do it. Don't do it, kids. It's just wrong.
No.
However, right, so there was a study performed about it must have been about 8 or 9 years back now, and it was on the culture of purchasing anything. Basically, it was just purchasing as a whole and how the generational changes of wanting to purchase happen. So, for instance, like boomers as a tradition, they like the idea of buying a DVD. Right, they like that. They like buying a DVD or going to see a movie and it costing X amount. Like, regardless of whether you enjoy that film, you've purchased the item and you have, and you know that's how it works. And they're happy with that. But obviously, as we move down to millennials started. They didn't really like that way of doing things. What they wanted to do, rather than pirate games or pirate movies, is they wanted to watch it first and then they wanted to pay what they think it was worth.
Ah, yeah,
Right?
that's a good idea.
And actually, when they tested out this system, they found that they were getting more money because more people were paying what they thought it was worth because they weren't going out and pirating it. So as a whole, the system worked better. And there is a new study happening right now that is trying to look at, is it Gen Z is the next guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're looking at
That's
how
me.
they want to do things. Yeah, so they're looking at like streaming services and whether that's actually working for them now, or whether they need to move on more back to the system of like adverts and things in order to purchase things. You know, what actually works for that generation.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is the thing. If companies complain about not providing a service that is actually affordable and works for their target audience, then fuck you, companies. You know, you're gonna have shit pirated from you, and if you're in a country where you can't afford stuff, those countries still want to have the same entertainment value as the US, as Europe. They're still human beings, and they can still use the internet and see what everybody else has. They want access to that, so provide it to them for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yes, like
sorry to interrupt.
PS2. Okay, you can.
Sorry.
you can.
Rezol's just donated again, and he said, "Buy the fella with the beautiful hair some VR games." So I will contact you after the podcast is finished because you've got some credit.
So awesome, thank you, Rezol. That's fucking awesome of you, dude.
So if you want to buy a game right now, which game would it be?
Buy a game right now? It probably would be an Oculus game, so I could play it. I already have Zenith. That should be my first choice.
Red Matter 2, that's a good choice.
Yeah, Red Matter 2 is a good choice.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you after the podcast, and we'll get that sorted, because Rezol's just given me some money to buy you a game. Thank you very much, Rezol.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. So that's really nice. That's really nice.
He's a look,
yeah. I would choose after the podcast, but probably Red Matter 2. It's a good choice.
Oh, it
is a pretty damn good game.
It's a great game. Oh man.
Really, thank you so much for that.
It's okay. There you go. You see.
But I always talk about the PS2 because it was a huge thing in Brazil. I think the rest of the world as well.
Yeah.
But in Brazil, the main thing that we bought was a unlocked PS2, so we can. Usually, we get an unlocked PS2 that run cracked games, and we get to the street stores. I don't know how to call it. That's like people just set up a thing in the middle of the sidewalk and sold cracked PS2 games
Yeah,
for
I
like
remember
cheap
that. Yeah,
price.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember that the PS2 came out and everyone was pirating it. So
Yeah, I had.
I actually used to be the guy that used to make cracked PS2s and Xboxes and 360s. I made
Oh!
an incredible amount of money out of that shit.
I tell you what, you might be the guy who chipped my Xbox then. Right, so I got my Xbox chipped. I sent it away. The guy chipped it, sent it back. It had a load of games on it. Had like emulators, so you could play SNES games, all that sort of stuff, right? But do you know why I got my Xbox cracked? Because the UK Xbox would not play in 480p, right? It only played in 480 interlaced, and I had a projector that could do 480p, and I wanted that extra quality because apparently the quality was there was a night and day difference.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I got my Xbox chipped so that I could play in 480p. 480p. Wow.
Living in the future, people.
So that
that's
was
some Back to the Future stuff there, mate.
that was 20 over 20 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, so the PSVR, so the PS5 is going up by 50 quid. The PSVR 2, you can actually play it, Resident Evil Village, on the PSVR 2 next month at Tokyo Game Show. So if anyone's in Tokyo is watching, you can actually get hands-on with the PSVR 2. So that means that it's coming out by March, isn't it? So they're confident that it's looking good.
So it's basically they said Q1 2023. So yeah, like Indy said, it's like probably March. It'll probably be March, won't it? Because it's too close to Christmas if it comes out in January, February. Everybody's scared.
It seems like a bad shout from a marketing perspective.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just have to take a quick comfort break. So give me a second.
Okay. I was just going to say, because when they advertised that Resident Evil game, it said the 23rd of March or something like that. And then straight away, everyone was like, yeah, that's when the PS. Well, a couple of people thought that. I've always thought that as well. Like that sort of time, like a bundle or something within the new Resident Evil 4, I think it is.
It's going to have to. Yeah, it's going to be. It
Wait.
can't be 4, surely. They're not going to do 4. It would have to be 7, I think.
No,
7 or 8.
Okay, but I think they are making a 4 on the PSVR as well.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
They said that it was gonna come out with additional content in VR. They didn't say it was the game.
Mhm.
It was like additional content in VR.
Okay.
They didn't specify it.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm worried about with the PSVR 2 is I'm worried that there are going to be not enough games to warrant the PSVR 2. I think Sony have realized that it is a big space and that they need to do stuff for it. But I'm worried that there's going to be a lot of games released that's just like, oh yeah, this game's awesome and it has VR content. And the VR content will be like a room that you can walk around in or something. And that worries me.
I think Sony is gonna invest in VR. I think by the way that they are doing stuff, like announcing the Horizon game, and the Iron Man developer said he was working in another VR title, and it is probably something more for PSVR.
Yeah,
And then
we've
I
got
think they are working on
Requisition VR is going into there, and Saints and Sinners 2 is already slated for making it to there. There's a bunch of other games that are already coming out this year. I think Bone Lab may have said that they're doing something for PSVR 2. So there is good content coming there. It's just whether or not it's going to be good exclusive content.
Yeah.
This is same thing with me. The same thing, because I've got an index and stuff, and they need to bring out games like Blood and Truth 2, and there's quite a few really good games that were exclusives, and obviously the foveated rendering will make games look awesome. But I'm not if it's 6 months down the line and it's not really had much, and it's just like you said, Walking Dead and games that are already on other systems. It's just like, oh, I'll have to consider, is this worth keeping?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
if it's just
really
gonna-
so. On my chat, Jonathan Badgers just said there will be some big titles, but if it doesn't sell like they want, you won't really see any content after a year. Because I think that's what happened with the PSVR, isn't it?
Yeah, to an extent. The thing is,
But-
right? Here's the thing. Another thing that somebody who mentioned it, D60 D1360 VR, right?
Yeah.
D1360 VR. PSVR 1 retro compatibility will keep them busy while GTA 6 VR is made. Here's the thing. If you were to just as an average person that had, say, £4,000 spare, because we all just have £4,000 spare. When the PSVR 2 comes out, I'm not saying it's a good thing to do. I'm not saying you should do it because scalpers are wankers. But if you were to go out, right, and just buy yourself 8 copies of the PSVR 2 and held on to them, I guarantee you, because they're not going to make it so much. Like if they've only made a certain amount of PS5s and it's rare already, I don't think they're going to go too ham on making the PSVR 2. So I think that once they get to the point where GTA 6, if that has a VR mode, you could probably then ship off those 8 for double the price, just because of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
That's
one
they
thing
only need
about
one
it-
title.
One thing about it, the low amount of PS5 in the market was because of the chip shortage,
Yeah.
and it is getting better right now. And PS5 are getting like discounts in some places here in Brazil, and you don't need to buy in the same day that they do the, I don't remember the name, but they got all the PS5s ready for sale. You don't need to buy day one. They are getting more and more like in the stores. So I don't think the PSVR 2 is going to get this problem of this difficulty to buy it. But one thing that I think would make the PSVR 2 sell better, it is if someone in the community make some way to play it on PC in a
Yeah.
good way,
Yeah.
like an easy way to play it on PC, because it is a good headset and the controller is so nice. I don't think people could use it on PC, but the controller is really good because of the technology from the DualSense and the eye tracking and stuff. So I think if it could be played on PC, and if we had enough of this to sell, it is going to sell well regardless of the PS5 sales, because it's at a lower price than pretty much every headset outside of every PC VR headset outside from the Quest 2, right?
That's a really good point. That is if they just say no, it's PS5 exclusive, then I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. If the announcement is, it's coming out on, say, March the 23rd, it'll be compatible with PlayStation 5. Oh, and by the way, you can use it on your PC as well.
Yes.
Oh man, that is just going to blow everything out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So basically, recently, PlayStation have been releasing their games onto PC, right? So
Yeah.
they've sold
Yes.
all they can on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then they come out on the PC, and they're making millions of that. So Sony's plan is actually to do that more in the next few years. So
Yeah.
that could be pointing towards their VR games. So yeah, so this is something that they've admitted they're going to do, but they didn't say VR specifically, but they said their games in general. Sorry, so
Yeah.
They
It-
can't expect the PSVR to sell well if it is attached to you have a PS5 in your house. They can expect it to sell well because people don't really have PS5s right now. It's like the generation is starting. So I think it is.
Henry, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just pissing myself with what Henry's just said. Sorry, man.
Sorry, Sty, sorry. One of his guys has just posted up in his chat. You know you're hooked to the podcast when you take your laptop to the toilet. So somebody's sitting on the toilet listening to you talking about PS5, Sty.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice to know.
Welcome to England.
Have a good poop.
Oh, it's crazy.
So do you guys
Um,
poo differently in Brazil, or is it the same?
It's the same.
They poo,
I
they poo, they fill the ceiling. That's the thing. They
They're
go upside
upside
down,
down.
strap themselves into a harness.
Yeah. We're like Japan in reverse. Our toilets are made of wood, you know. No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
God. So we've talked about teledildonics. Now we're talking about people pooping in Brazil. This is a VR podcast, guys. Come on, be professional.
Hey, PD, how's
Hey,
it going,
PD's
buddy?
here.
Hope you're getting better, mate.
He's not been very well.
He's out of commission, as far as I'm aware. He had a
Oh, no.
Twitter post saying he's out of commission for a while
Oh dear.
due to surgery, I believe.
well
So
soon.
yeah, get well soon, my guy.
Yeah, I hope your sex change went well. Can I have your penis? I'm
Max
making
doesn't
light.
work anymore.
I'm making light. I'm making light. Paradise, get better, mate. We love you.
So he's heard us talking about those subjects as well. So.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
Babs,
so
Babs cabs.
do we have anything else to talk about the PSVR price, or do we want to move on to a different subject?
No, let's move on. Let's move on. That's done.
Okay, cool. Right. So next subject then. I must admit I've been out of commission for this week as far as a lot of the news is concerned. But Mac, you wanted to talk about Gamescom.
I did. I mean, considering what a massive thing Gamescom is, there wasn't an awful lot of like VR games content there. There's a little trickle. Obviously, we had the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Retribution. We had the extended gameplay trailer, which looked good. You know, apparently there's going to be like deeper crafting, more guns, more weapons, weapon attachments. That's a new thing for Walking Dead, and the chainsaw. The chainsaw.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
guessing.
you know what?
Sorry.
I'm not as excited about the chainsaw as I think most people are.
All right. Okay.
Unless they push it so that it makes sense to use it a lot of the time,
Right.
I'm gonna switch out to other weapons regularly.
Yeah. I think they're going to restrict it because it looks really powerful. I think they're going to restrict its use by you have to collect fuel for it, or you have to craft fuel by gathering whatever. But yeah, it looks super powerful. And did you notice as well the zombies? They can be cut because, like in Walking Dead, if you play Walking Dead, you could cut a zombie's arm off, you could cut a leg off, and they'd fall over. Obviously, you cut the heads off. But this had he was like sweeping at 45 degrees, and the zombie was getting cut. Yeah, and it was like just a great fun. I love Walking Dead. It's one of my favorite games in VR. It's just so good.
Yeah, so I hope that, because as you say, like you can see them being sort of split at an angle. I hope that's not restricted to the chainsaw. I really want to be able to do that with, say, the katana or with an axe. I'd really like to be able to do some different types of damage with a bat, for instance. I would really like them to have opened up the melee. And Max just like, yeah, typical Shuey, fucking, he just wants to rip everything apart with his bare fucking hand.
You want to do artistic zombie killing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah, well, here's the thing.
It's an art form.
Does anybody remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger film where he was in like a killing game show? What was it called? Running Man.
Yeah.
And there was a guy in there who had a chainsaw. And there's a classic scene in it where Arnie gets the chainsaw and gets it up between his legs and just like, but you don't actually see it. And when Arnie comes running back down the road, his compatriot says, "Where's Buzzsaw?" And Arnie goes, "He had to split." So I'm hoping you can right up the middle of a zombie or a guard.
Would they let you do that to humans? There might be limits to like.
What you mean, like Hasbro?
I wonder if I can.
Hasbro makes chainsaws, and they don't want you to chainsaw human people.
Chains made out of flowers.
If they make the body physics different between the zombies and the humans, I think my review for that game is going to be fuck you, Sky, whatever they're
Skydance Interactive.
Skydance Interactive. Yeah, that's the one. I can't imagine them doing that, but if they did, that is going to be a problem. I feel. Just don't put kids in the game. Like, I'm just telling you, like, let me do weird shit to adults, but don't put kids in the game, because there will be some weird fuckers that are just like, I'm going to chainsaw a child.
Right, and in there, we'd like to point out in the Virtualy Rek't podcast, we do not condone the chainsawing of small children. I'd just like to get that out there straight away. Do not chainsaw children, people. There you go.
Yeah, that's not a nice thing.
That's not a nice thing. No.
If you've done it, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm trying to think, because there are loads of games that just don't put kids in the game because they just don't want, like, because can you hurt the kids in Skyrim? No, I didn't think, like, they either do one of two ways, don't they? They kind of like no kids, or you can't do anything to the kids.
Yeah,
Did
I mean, look,
GTA, did GTA 5 had any
gonna say.
kid NPC?
no, any GTA's never had kids.
Sims just said,
Which
"Kids
is-
are
which is
immortal
good.
in all Bethesda games." Yeah, because don't kill children. That's the message.
Again, if you've done it, shame on you.
Shame on you, exactly.
If you're thinking about it, that's fine. Think about killing kids.
Yeah.
Just don't actually do it.
Just don't
Even in
actually do it.
games.
Right, it's,
Even in games.
let's move on quickly, because that went downhill quite quickly. Everslort Invasion on Quest 2.
Looks awesome.
Have you played? Did you play
Really?
Everslort on PC?
No, I haven't. It's actually on my list now because of seeing that trailer.
Yeah, I've played it on PC. The only way I could. It's oh Christ Almighty. It's like a cross between. This sounds really weird. It's a cross between Spider-Man and Doom Eternal, because you have this thing called the hook. You have this thing called the hook shot, and you can like fly around you can like literally fly around the map, like really fast. You have to have really good, strong VR legs, and the weapons are cool, and the baddies burst into blood bags, and but it's like really violent and really, really fast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that on a standalone headset.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, the things I'm not as into that as I am Hellsweeper. Like, Hellsweeper VR is really, really got. For some reason in my head, I could have sworn it was coming out this month,
Yeah.
and it's not. I know it's not, because I've been looking at the video and trying to find the games that are coming out in September, which I was kind of gutted about, because that game, if you haven't got VR legs, you'll never be able to play that game ever.
No, because you can like flip upside down, and you can do all sorts of weird
Yeah.
shit, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw the trailer of this game, I was okay. I need to play it. That sounds like that seems beautiful to play.
Have you played Sorrento?
No.
Yes.
No, because that's their previous game. That's the sort of previous game, and that's available on Quest and PC VR.
That's a really good
where
game
you
as
play
well.
as like a cyber ninja, and that sort of wall running, jumping, doing sort of really kick-ass slides, and then slicing people's heads off, and it's all sort of Neo Tokyo-esque. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that has the same
Yeah.
sort of feel to it, but with Everslort, you had that hook shot thing though, which means you can you literally fly around the levels. It's amazing. Sorry, Serge, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I might have a key of Sorrento. I'll have to check. Maybe I'll have a look and give it away next week. The next podcast.
Okay.
I might have, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet game. It made it into my top 5 sword games.
It did. Yes, I saw that video. Right, so we've done that. The other one was Fighters of the Broken Edge, which just meh. Did you see the trailer?
Broken Edge is that game like that
Iron Lights. It's
Yeah.
basically updated Iron Lights. And I personally, I think it's a really good idea. Like Iron Lights was super fun, and it still has like a really decent, really good community, really pushing it forward. And I think all of them are probably going to move over, or a lot of them are going to move over to Broken Edge,
Right.
because it's adding a few new ideas. But I'm not certain that the art style behind it is going to really push the people that were playing Iron Lights,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they wanted something that was a bit more. I assume anyway. This is based on like my biases. I would want something that looked sort of swords in the future, but not lightsabers, and doing something cool, and it looks kind of dark and dingy and brutal. And Broken Edge kind of looks, although I think it looks really good, the art style makes it look very sort of light and airy. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have to hit me. We can sit down and have a tea party.
I'm a pink knight.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did. I saw the trailer. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's
Mm.
very like, I don't know, My Little Pony
Yeah.
kind of, isn't it? It's not like
Yeah, it's very pastel palette.
yeah.
My little swordy, my little stabby.
The thing
Oh,
is
yeah.
if you look at how much effort they've actually put into the actual swordplay, the mechanics behind it look amazing.
Mm.
Just the front end, I don't think quite looks as good
Yeah.
as I'd want.
Yeah. There is one fighting game that I want to play on VR. That's Final Fury. That I saw the trailer at the same time as Broken Edge was announced, and I thought, okay, that's a nice idea. Did you saw that Final Fury?
I haven't seen Final
I haven't
Fury.
seen. No, is that the kung fu game?
No,
Oh.
it is a game like they tried to bring somewhat a fighting game, a real fighting game. They called it a fighting game in VR.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it. Yeah,
Oh, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then I saw it. I thought, okay, that's so cool. That is a good way. When like I don't know how the match like really works, but it seems like you need to hit the right places and the right forms in the middle of the match,
Oh,
and
yes, yes,
you have
yes.
this 3D environment to
Yeah,
like dodge, and it seems really cool.
yeah.
And
Actually,
that's
I do remember
the
now. Yeah.
kind of and that's the kind of fighting game that I'm hyped about to play. Like Broken Edge seems fine, and the mechanics seems nice, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the kind of fighting game that I want to play in VR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I did-
Sorry, Serge.
No. I'm sorry. I was just going to say the Sirento key that I had that I thought was going to give away. Weeble's already won that. Sorry, guys. He won it a while back. He reminded me in your chat, Shui.
Yeah,
Weeble wins.
just
Weeble
hoovered
wins
it
everything.
up.
Yeah, he hoover up the free keys. Weeble, if you're watching, I have downloaded Cover Drive Cricket, and I will be playing tomorrow because he's been hounding me about it.
Yeah.
It's
he's
done. It's
been
done.
killing me.
Yeah. Sorry. I know. I don't have much to do next week, so I've got Tuesday to play Cover Drive Cricket.
And next up, in a surprise to absolutely no one, we have the official release date or release month of the Quest Pro.
Yes.
I mean,
Finally.
it's not a surprise, is it? Like, we've known about
think-
it for months.
I think the only surprise is the way that they announced it.
Yeah.
Well, people are known to go on the Joe Rogan podcast, and if you know what I mean. So, does Mark Zuckerberg do drugs? That's our question. We are now roving reporters.
Mark Zuckerberg is a drug. Like, he is just head to toe. He is a walking, talking drug.
I think people do them. do him.
The thing is, I actually, if you take the time to, I mean, like the Joe Rogan podcast opens with Joe Rogan saying, "I've tried your Oculus." Fucking brilliant. Well done, Joe. I don't know whether he did that just to annoy him or whether he did it because he was stoned. And it's absolutely brilliant. And Mark Zuckerberg just comes out and says, yeah, it's coming out in October, right? So if you don't want to watch the rest of the podcast, then that's fine. It's coming out in October. But I actually watched the rest of the podcast, and it was really, really good. He is a bit of an odd fish, Mark, but he absolutely believes that XR, which is VR and AR, is the future of everything. And he talks about it so enthusiastic, but you can also see, because he's a clever guy, Joe's asking him questions about stuff that's on the market now, and Mark's going, all right, I have to remember what the resolution of that is because I see a lot of products. So he's obviously they're way down the line with, they've obviously got the thing that's coming out next year, the thing that's coming out the year after, and he's obviously seeing it early. But it is actually a really good podcast, and it's on Spotify. So if you've got a spare 2 hours, go and watch it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Mark really seemed like a real person in the podcast.
Yes. So instead of doing his weird sort of things that he does on the Connect videos, and yeah, he just came across as a normal guy. He still has that weird thing where he goes, he's like, when he's thinking, he does this. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. It's
I've come to a small conclusion, I think, in my head, or a theory, I guess, over why Zuckerberg is so much more human in that podcast than he is anywhere else.
That's because it wasn't him.
No, this is a genuine theory, okay?
Okay.
I think that anytime he does anything, he's just terrible at reading lines.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think that he is using one of the what do you call them? Contact lens computers.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I genuinely think that he's using a rudimentary version. He's using that for his lines.
Okay.
Because if you look at when he's doing, I've been watching a lot of his stuff back because I've got a whole folder full of like what I call stock footage of Meta stuff and Mark Zuckerberg stuff. And I've been looking back at it, and he doesn't. Even when he sounds really robotic and he sounds like he's looking at lines, he's not necessarily looking at a teleprompter or something. And he could be learning them. But if you've learnt lines, you generally emphasize and you put more emotion into it. I think he's still reading lines, and because like we know that these lenses exist. We've seen them working in the past year now.
We have,
And the likelihood is that Facebook have been developing something or looking at something or have access to something, and probably like 5 years ahead of everybody else. That's my theory, at least. I think that he's just fucking terrible at reading lines.
Jonathan Badger in my chat said, lizard men breathe like that.
I saw a video of Mark when he went like, yeah, and you were human, and I was human. I am human.
There is a short on my channel, right? Go and look it up and look at. I can't remember exactly which short it is. Go and look it up and then look at the comments, because at least a third of the comments are talking about how I'm not human because I don't blink in my videos. Because I'm just staring into their soul, unblinking for a good like minute and 30 seconds.
Oh dear.
Years of practice.
Years of practice, yeah. Trying to pass yourself off as a human being.
Yes, with all of your human foods.
Yes. Well, I've actually seen you eat human food and drink human beer, so I know that you are, in fact.
But you've never actually seen me excrete human waste. So...
no, I do, because you slept. You slept in the van, and I thought that was really weird. Is that like because you have to go into a cocoon?
Yeah, I have to go into like a Bacti chamber.
Yeah, so that's how. That's how you.
Like I think it's worked like the Dune suit, that everything that comes out of his body is reintroduced to his body.
Totally, that's what this beard is. It's something I put on.
Jonathan Badger just said, "Yeah, PowerOnVR is a genius shaved bear."
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a really subpar human, but I'm a really genius bear.
Excellent. I like that. Resol VR said, to be fair, Coneheads didn't have buttholes either.
Oh, that film was amazing. If you haven't seen Coneheads, it was from like the late 90s, I think.
80s, was it? Late,
Was it 80s?
late
Oh,
80s.
God.
90s.
90s, you sure? I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I'm going to bet like 95 to 98.
I'll say 93.
Coneheads film. Fucking Google. Coneheads film.
Fucking Google.
Here we go. Oh, 1993. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, spot on, Sergi boy.
Sergi boy. A big Coneheads fan, are you?
Like their heads just look like a kind of
Can I build
food
on
that
it?
we have in Brazil.
Ah,
It is named coxinha. Coxinha. Just search for it. You see, it is really similar. Coxinha.
Hang on. I am going to find it because I can
Okay.
stick it on. I can stick it on the podcast while we're
Okay.
chatting. Right.
Just
give me the cursor. Give me the cursor. Right.
Just
Read
give-
that again. CON.
No, Coxinha.
Yeah.
Coxinha.
Oh, it's a food.
Coxinha.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's got all sorts of weird shit in it.
It is really similar.
What is it? Is it just like a meat shell with stuff in it?
Yeah, it is like not meat. We use I don't remember. It's like chicken,
So meat.
inside. Yeah, it is meat, but specifically from you can just scroll down and you see what is inside. And we put something we call catupiry. I don't know how you could call it in there. But yeah, it is a really famous food in Brazil, street food.
Try one when I go.
Yeah, every people from outside of Brazil that like tries it loves it. I've never seen anyone that didn't love it.
Okay, if I came to Brazil, I'm not gonna love it because I don't eat meat.
Yeah, but then you aren't going to eat it.
No, that is true. That is true. He's got me there. He's completely got me
Oh,
there.
he's gone.
oh,
He's knocked
We've
his
lost
camera.
him.
Oh, while.
There he is.
Hey, there
There
he
he
is.
I was gonna say, don't make me redo my setup again, man.
So I've just got one little thing I'd like to talk about, and it is advertising, because I've been invited to a gaming evening in Manchester called Format, and it's on the 8th of September. Starts at 8 o'clock and goes on till 1 o'clock. There is a trailer. I'm going to be putting some social media out about it tomorrow, so keep an eye on the channel for that. And basically, it's a gaming cosplay nerd thing, and it looks really good fun. There's dancing, there's beer, there's food. I'm going down. Blue Bottles from my chat is going down. We're going to meet up. So keep an eye on the social media for tomorrow and for more information on that. Sorry, I forgot. I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I really wanted to go. It looked really fun. Unfortunately, real life will get in the way.
It's your daughter's birthday.
It's my daughter's birthday.
She could have hung on for at least another day.
Or well, it'd be 2 because I'd be hungover to fuck the next day, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's not really the dad that you want turning up to your 11th birthday, is it?
No, it isn't.
Oh, you're right, dear, and just sort of dribbling out one side of my mouth.
Stinking of beer and yeah. I remember my daddy on my 11th birthday, do you? Yeah. Just before mummy kicked him out.
And they divorced.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the social media for tomorrow. So it'll be on Discord, Twitter, and my Facebook account. So yeah. Coolio.
Oh,
should we do the giveaway or do you wanna? Is there more stuff?
Yeah, let's just do let's set up the giveaway, and then we'll talk about games that are coming out over the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Good, because I haven't got a clue.
Nice.
I'm sure I've heard of them though.
So, yeah, do you want to play the trailer, guys? It's called Down Fast. It's a downhill mountain biking game. I streamed it on my channel. It's really good fun. I've got 2 keys to give away. So yeah, it's really good fun. It takes a little bit to get used to the controllers, but you actually feel like you're riding a mountain bike downhill, and you can do crazy stunts. I did like a 900-degree flip in the air, so I went
Wow.
round 2.5 times. So if you get motion sick, I'd stick to the ground.
What
But it was mental. Yeah.
which trailer are you going to show, Stewie? I'm just trying to.
Down Fast.
Yeah,
Down Fast VR.
just the first one that's there.
Yeah, that's all I clicked on.
Oh, hold on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right, so where's my display capture? There it is. Oh no. Oh no, it's all gone all funny. My display capture is now behind. No, that's not right. Okay, we'll have to. I don't think I can because setting up the peak for people has screwed this up. So
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I am. I'm just fixing my other page.
oh no, here we go. Here we go. This is it.
Thank you for pointing that out, guys. I didn't know what you were talking about, but I do now.
Right, sorry, I can't show it, but because
Yeah,
it's basically going to be over Shuey's face.
Yeah, so I've got it running on my channel a little bit. It looks pretty fun, man. Like one of the things I pointed out a while ago was that there just wasn't anything like this. Like there is a game on side quests, which I tried out, and the game is terrible.
Oh, I remember
And
you
it
talking
is
about this.
Yeah, the dirt bike game, where it's in a tiny little thing. It makes you feel sick as a dog, and you're in a tiny little arena like a skate park. And for some reason, they were like, "Do you know what would make this game better? Let's give them an Uzi, and let's give them an enemy to fight." And all the enemies look like pills for some reason. It's super weird. But yeah, like it is what it is. But yeah, this down fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Down Fast.
This is something that VR is needed for a while. We need more sort of sports and adventure type games
Definitely.
similar to this.
Yeah, and there's a few courses. One of them, well, he's working it constantly. You'll know there was one that needs to optimize, but it was a week ago. But it's really good fun. Like my favorite course is the last one. It's even if you go off the track, you can just do mad stunts just off hills and that. It's really funny. Yeah, so I've got 2 keys. So what we can do a keyword.
Yeah, do a keyword.
Yeah, pick a keyword.
Pick a keyword. Okay. Sty. Let's do STTY. That's the keyword.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Keyword. Get the keyword in the chat, either my podcast or Shuey's podcast. Here we go. Mo Beast is in. JS is in.
Yeah, we will do at the end of the podcast. We'll do the spin that wheel or the spin that Weeble, as it's becoming known, and we'll see how many keys that Weeble wins tonight.
Yeah. So Jonathan Badger's done his usual thing. He's put it in backwards.
Okay, so yeah, there is that. There was another game that you wanted to talk about, right, Serge?
Yeah, there is another game that is not coming out just yet, but it will be out soonish. I spoke to the dev, and he's holding back on putting it out just yet at the moment. So I think if you do like the look of it, go and wishlist it, guys. It's called Black Trail VR, and I don't know if you got the trailer. But
Yeah, no, I've got the trailer running.
Oh, there you go. he is very prepared. So it's you can see from the trailer, it's like Cowboys and Indians in VR. It's got a story mode, and yeah, it's gonna have a decent amount of content in there. I'd say maybe 8 to 10 hours. So yeah, plenty of stuff. So you play as obviously the Cowboys, and then you play as the Indians as well.
Okay, so what is it? Is it more sort of Red Dead Redemption, or is it more Young Guns? I mean, from this, it sort of seems. Is there an actual like story? to
Yeah,
what's
yeah, there's
going on?
there's a full story campaign. So it's like a full story. So you do, and they're interwoven stories. So 1 minute you're the cowboy, the next minute you're the Indian.
That's nice. That's
Yeah, I was
nice.
going to say that sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, so go wish list it, guys, and that will be out hopefully in the next couple of months. I think October. I think.
Okay, so that's reasonably soon.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. He had like a door as a shield, and then
Yep.
he was like throwing tomahawks. That looks pretty sweet.
Yeah. So games like that, I'll keep everyone posted on games that I find because obviously what I'm doing on my channel, I've spent a lot of time looking at different things. So yeah, man, those two games are really cool. I mean, Downfast I played, it is really cool. So
Oh, it is coming to Quest 2 as well.
I think so.
Yeah, I was going to say at the end of the trailer, it does say Steam VR and Meta.
There
So
you go.
yeah, that would be good because I was looking at this and I was like, well, this is obviously Steam VR footage, I think, but it's the sort of game that I think would do much better on the Quest platform than I think it will do on the Steam VR platform. Although I am going to be playing this because this looks sweet.
This looks really good.
Yeah. There's a few other games I spotted as well. So I mean, I'll keep you all posted anyway because you guys do videos and like you do upcoming games for the month.
Yeah,
don't you?
obviously,
So-
yeah, definitely. I'm excited for that. So, Shuey, you wanted to talk about games coming out in September.
Yeah, so we've got some interesting ones coming out. Let me just get my little listy boy up. And you guys can have who are watching on my stream can see what I've been writing about this morning. So first of all, I think we have Day Sim.
Oh yeah,
which has
Days,
been out.
yeah.
Let's just throw up a trailer while we're here. Oh, okay, we'll just find everybody else's reviews. So yeah, that's not how you spell trailer. So Daysim is essentially a god simulator. It's reminiscent to me of a game called Black and White from back in the day on PC. If any of you remember that one.
Oh god, yes, I love that game.
It was great. The only thing that this doesn't have, like, this is obviously it looks kind of low poly, which I like, but it doesn't have the little. In Black and White, you had this little creature that you would also sort of bring up as your pet, and it was like a giant ape or some sort of bear or something, and that would go around, and you had to either teach it to be mean or good to the humans. The difference being in this is that you are actually taking your humans from being sort of Iron Age all the way up to the Space Age, I think, is the latest update. So you go through different versions of history, which is pretty cool. That's, as far as I remember, from the press release pack. That's actually releasing on the 1st of September as the full version, because you can no longer actually purchase it as of the 22nd of August on AppLab anymore, which is where it was previously available, as well as itch.io and SideQuest. So it's no longer available on there. The next one we have is Intercosmos 2000, which is a space sim game. Let's throw up the gameplay trailer.
Sorry, Crash has just said that Black Trail is actually Oculus Rift, so it's actually
okay.
That makes PC more sense. VR.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So Intercosmos 2000 is a space sim game where you are in some sort of space capsule and you are going to basically try and not die.
Which is always good.
Yeah, it's always good. So the idea is you've got to stay in orbit, and you've got to try and not suffocate to death. Now they state that on the whole, what they're showing you is a pretty realistic. However, some things are exaggerated. Obviously, it's a pretty realistic space capsule that you're actually in during the game. So that sounds pretty interesting to me. That they're trying to do sort of a semi-realistic space experience.
Yeah.
Like you actually have to like flick all of the like switches and buttons and things, and adjust your yaw, roll, pitch, and everything in order to get to the space station. And I think there is a small amount of story in there, in that you have a mission, and the idea is that depending on whether you can actually get to the space station and fix the International Space Station in order to save the future. So yeah, I think that one looks pretty cool. That's also coming out on the 1st of September. That one is coming out, I think, exclusively on the Quest 2.
Yeah.
This is the next one. I think looks pretty sick because it is something that, similar to Downfast, is not something that is available at all on anything. But we're getting Tank Mechanic Simulator VR.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, it's Tank Mechanic Simulator. That's a bit of a mouthful.
Okay.
But you're literally digging up tanks from World War II era, the US, Soviets, and the German.
Sold.
I forgot the actual protagonist of World War II. Or the actual antagonist, sorry.
Yeah, antagonist.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm sold.
Yeah, so
I'm a massive World War II tank fan. I actually went down to the Tank Museum in Bovington and actually stood next to Tiger 131, which is the only surviving, working, running Tiger tank in the world, and I was just blown away. And he's working on a Tiger tank in that game.
This is this is apparently really, really in depth. You have to go and find the tanks, dig them up, bring them in, and then you're going to clean off the mud, sort out the rust. You're going to fix and mend different metal panels, pull out all of the different screws, and then you're going to put it back together. You're going to prime the individual parts and paint it, and then you can either sell it or you can put it into your own museum. And the idea is that you're increasing your prestige and your money in order to go and get more tanks.
Max OCD is going wild.
This game was made. This game is made for me. So if you don't know, in the UK there's the Tank Museum down in Bovington, and basically that's what they do. They find old tanks, they restore them to running condition, and then every 2 or 3 times a year they get them out in this big arena and they drive them around. And it's just like, if you're a tank geek like me, it is just. I mean, I was stood there with a semi on when the Tiger drove past, because if
you'd have loved my upbringing, mate.
Oh right, well your dad was a tanky, was he?
No, my dad wasn't, but my friend's family are all World War II collectors.
Right.
To the point where they had all the APCs, tanks, in fact, and Jeeps and whatnot. If you look at GoldenEye, the film GoldenEye, the tank in there is actually owned by my friend's uncle.
Oh no, because the Tank Museum did a whole program about that scene in GoldenEye, and
it's not the actual Sherman, is it?
Yeah,
it's a different tank that they had to build a Sherman on top of.
Yeah, and it's they actually had the guy who did the stunt driving. You know, when it comes around the corner, he was like, we realized you could actually like drift a tank. They actually had the guy who did the stunt. Yeah, that. Oh man. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to recall my channel, the Tank Mechanic Simulator channel.
Mac in Tanks.
Mac in Tanks.
Tanks with Max. Yeah, it's so that also
Mac
comes out on the 1st
has a wank
of September.
in a tank.
In VR.
In VR, oh god, with teledildonics.
Okay, so we're still not past the 1st of September at this point.
Oh my god!
With the next game, which is War of Wizards, which is kind of a mixture of a sort of Harry Potter-ish game where you're actually going to be drawing your spells in midair with your wand in order to cast them. But it's also a MOBA in that you've got an actual set of lanes in front of you between you and your opponent, where you're summoning dragons and monsters and things, as well as then sort of casting fireballs and different types of spells to destroy both the monsters and attack your opponents, and also casting healing spells. So it's trying to work out what the best thing to do at any given moment is, what the actual threats are at the time, and trying. It's a PvP type game.
Okay.
I think this one looks pretty sweet. I'm hoping to get an early, because although I think this comes out on Thursday, I've been speaking to the developer and I'm not actually certain that it is.
Okay.
But either way, I'm trying to get an early access to that. I think that looks pretty sweet. If you're a Harry Potter fan, that might do you. I think it's not like you're shouting the spells as such, but it looks pretty cool. Like I could go on because there are so many games that are coming out this month. But instead of going through every trailer, I just want to pick out some of the ones that I really think are worthwhile. So we've spoken about Ultimex that comes out this month as well on the 15th. And I think that's going to be good mainly because it is free to play and it is I think it's cross-play, but I'm not certain. If it is cross-play, I think
it is.
If there is crossplay, then that game I think will do really well because it's free to play. So that may be where Knock, despite the fact I think Knock is worth the money, that may be where Knock went wrong compared to something like Ultimex, where they're going the free to play model with the paid for battle passes and things.
Because if you think about Knock, it is really easy to make some cosmetics that people want to buy.
I jumped in with them. I jumped in with the Knock creators about 3-4 months ago, and we had a few games and did some really cool shit on one of their last updates. And I was just like, just make like a complete neon set of updates, make some really cool map changes, make some different bows and things. People will buy them. They were like, yeah, but we've already done like the paid for model now. It's like you could just change the model.
I think the game would run like the it would sell really better if the game. I think it would make much money if it was like if in-game sales with cosmetics and bowls and characters and maybe musics. You could follow the Rocket League thing and do go explosions and the calls. I don't know when you could put a call on, but things like that. I think it would make more money.
Even if it was like they've done with Population 1 recently, which is like the seasonal flares that come out the back of you when you fly around. I think stuff like that, like people would go for that stuff, man. But yeah, no, I mean, regardless, like those guys are cool. I like them. I love that game. But yeah, Ultimex I think is doing the right thing in this space, which is producing a free to play model with paid for in-game purchases.
It is play as well.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, I'll probably be playing that on Quest just because it looks really good on Quest. I don't see the necessity of playing it on PC VR if you can just play it on Quest, because I can't see the graphics being much better, if I'm really honest, because it's a fairly simplistic looking game. But yeah, it's pretty cool nonetheless. The next one I want to talk about quickly is Requisition VR, which is finally coming.
Yay, at last.
Finally. This is one that we've been waiting on a while now. And they pushed it back because it needed more work, and I'm glad they did, because that is the sort of thing that they... Actually, this is probably the wrong trailer, because this is an old trailer. Let's have a look at the gameplay trailer. So yeah, this is a game that we've known about for a while, and it is a zombie apocalypse co-op shooter, similar to Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But in this, you are the big sort of gimmick of this is that you can make anything into a weapon.
Yeah, and did you play the demo that was released during Steam Fest VR?
I didn't get a chance.
It was terrible.
Which I'm assuming is why they pushed it back.
Yeah. So the demo was really good. Like the tutorial. The tutorial was really good.
Okay.
But then when you got into the game, it was PvP, and you just got dumped in with a load of kids who were just running around screaming in their underpants, and it was just a really bad experience. So I can understand why they pushed it back. The Steam VR Fest was a car crash, basically, and the reason I was excited about it is because it reminded me of kind of like a sort of Horde version of After the Fall, where you just with your mates and you could craft weapons and you could set traps and that sort of stuff. But it just
Like Dead Island, like the
Yeah,
Dead Island
yeah.
mechanic of doing everything, and
that's a great comparison. Yeah, really good. But it was a car crash, so that's obviously why they've done it.
So that's Requisition VR. We have two more that I want to mention. One, which I think is going to be the Red Matter 2 of this month, which is going to be Into the Radius, is coming out on Quest 2.
I got early access to the demo. It's really good.
Yeah, so I mean, Into the Radius on PC VR is great. Is Surge? You were playing some of this, right?
Yeah. I've still got to finish it. I'll probably say I'm about halfway through. I streamed it for 8 hours or so, so I'm probably about halfway through.
So if you like
It's
your
wicked.
survival games, this is
Hard.
definitely one to look out for.
Yeah.
What makes
if-
this so different?
If I'm not mistaken, the developer said that the only downgrades for the Quest 2 port would be the graphics, and all the mechanics and gameplay stuff would be exactly the same. If I'm not mistaken, they said it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
Like, people can accept graphical downgrades, they cannot accept mechanical downgrades.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I completely understand that, because at that point the gameplay suffers. Like, I can play a bad looking game if the mechanics are awesome. I can't play a good looking game if the mechanics are terrible.
Yeah.
So,
Into the Radius is so. I mean, actually, I'd like to point out I didn't get access to the demo. I got access to the early build, and even then, it was really good. So I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah. Carry on, Serge.
Well, as I say, it's a great game. I think Crash got it recently as well. He's hooked on it as well, and it's really hard to get Crash to actually be hooked on the game.
Apart from Population 1.
Yeah, because he's got the attention span of, I don't know, my left testicle. So it must be a good game. Sorry. Yeah.
We have learned something about Indie VR today, ladies and gentlemen.
His left testicle has no attention span.
I mean, to be fair, nor do mine. Neither of mine do. So if your right one has the attention span longer, then congratulations.
Unless
you're a better man than me.
Unless I'm looking at pictures of naked women, and then all of a sudden my testicles have a very, very big attention span.
But it is the same through the right one to the left one.
As you get older, it changes.
Yeah, no, mine are the same, no matter what. But Serge apparently has, I don't know, some sort of.
He has
testicles.
He has a favorite. He has a favorite testicle. That's what it is.
Yes, I do. I have a magic sack. Yes, I do.
All right, Santa.
Oh God, this went downhill again quickly.
Right. Okay. So the very last game. It's not the last game on the list. Trust me, because there are so many games coming out this month.
It's starting to ramp up, aren't we?
I've spelt that completely wrong. The last game I want to talk about is a game called and I can't find it. Am I spelling it wrong? Either way, it's called Librarium, which is coming out exclusively, I think, on the Quest 2. Right, let's try it like that. There we go. Launch trailer. Here we go. Right, so Librarium is not just a game. It's actually a study aid.
Okay.
It's based on the idea of the Mind Palace. If you've watched Sherlock, the TV show, you'll know what this is about. The idea is that you can create a place in your head that you can physically walk around, imaginary, obviously, but you can then find pieces of information. And this increases, according to studies, the ability to retain knowledge as well as just utilize it up to 33% better. So what this app does is it's partnered with a study service, and they've created Librarian, which is a VR memory palace that you can walk around and you can find different courses that you can take within the memory palace. But also you can create your own study cards and things that you can put in there so that you're not just sitting there staring at a book trying to study for GCSEs or whatever the US equivalents are, or just sitting there trying to do like entrance exams and stuff. This is designed to help you in VR in a more fun and practical manner.
Is Stty frozen or is he dead?
I think if he died, his head would have fallen over.
I think he's nodded off.
No, I reckon he's disconnected. I reckon he might have run
he's-
out of battery or something.
Yeah, okay. So before he... Yes, there we go. Before he screws up all of
God
our...
damn it.
Okay, right. What I think we'll have to do is we'll have to end the stream. We've been going for 2 hours.
Giveaway.
We'll do the giveaway.
Yeah, we'll do the
Yes,
giveaway.
yes.
We'll do the giveaway. You're
I'll
just gonna have to, you're just gonna have to put up with the screwed up screens.
Yeah.
I think Stty died.
I mean, literally, I don't think Stty is dead. Let's just
No, I
put
don't
that
think
out there
Sty's
for
dead.
everybody.
I think he's. I think his computer's died. So
wheel.
let's go back. Who we've got? Right. Okay. Oh, I don't have that many actually in mine.
Let's see.
Who's
make
doing?
random-
Who's doing the Wheel of Fame?
I've this. Will this do more than 6? Hang on. What do I usually use? The Decider wheel.
No, it's Wheel of Names.
The
isn't
Wheel
it?
of Names.
Ah, Wheel of Names. That's what it's called. Wheel of Names.
I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 5 actually. So,
Okay, well, read them out to me.
Mo Beast,
Yep.
Sim, CIM,
Sim.
Jonathan Badger, Slow Coach, and that, my friend.
That's only 4.
Yeah, I think because Jonathan Badger actually did it 3 times.
You cheeky little
You cheeky
bastard.
monkey. Yeah, that's
so-
it. So on yours,
So we've got Henry, Fourth Wall Breaker, Crash. Hang on, I need to someone read them. So we've
Okay,
got Henry.
So Mo Beast, Henry, Crash.
Mobius is already on there.
Okay. Fourth Wall.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Yeah.
Henry, Fourth Wall, and Crash. Yeah.
Oh, you've got a good chance of winning. You've got a good chance of winning.
Did Weeble not enter?
He
He
didn't
said he's not
enter.
entering. He's not entering.
So we will still win.
Right. Just right. I'm going to put Weeble in here, and even if he wins, he's not going to get it. But I want to see if he wins.
Yeah. Oh, put Maniac Psycho in as well because he's not here, but he usually wins as well, doesn't he?
No, okay. I'm just putting Weeble in. I'm just putting Weeble in. Just if this is a one-off, and then I'm going to remove Weeble. I just want to see if Weeble would have won anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stty, we're gonna end the podcast after we've done the giveaway. So
okay. So first winner is Mr. Slow Coach. Congrats, dude.
well done, Slow Coach.
Surgy Boy will
mate.
be in contact with you soon. So we'll remove Slow Coach, and that leaves us with.
Weeble said he's already got the key.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Hold on a second, guys. That's the he's not being kind. He was in my stream.
already
and the
won
dev
it.
Dropped the key. Yeah, the dev gave him a key.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The second winner is Mr. Sim.
Well
So
done, Mr.
congrats,
Sim.
my guy.
That's from
Surgy Boy
my.
will be in contact with you. It might be an idea to contact Surge.
Yeah, jump on my
I'll-
just jump on my Discord if you're not already.
Oh, there you go. We're back again.
Okay, just my camera that it isn't turning on.
Okay, mate, don't worry about it. We're going to end the stream anyway because
Okay.
say he's back. Right.
There he is.
Woo!
This has been a good one. I've enjoyed this. There's been lots of interaction in the chat. Sorry. I'm going to have to set that slick thing up that you've done, Power On, because that's pretty cool. That mine.
Oh, the transition.
I need some OBS. I need some OBS training.
Well, we can do that. We can do a few hours of that, mate. It's really
Okay.
simple to learn. I can show you it all.
Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Stty for being on the show. We've really enjoyed being here,
Yeah,
mate.
it's been great
funny.
meeting you, dude.
Yeah,
Thank you. I really enjoyed being here
good.
as
It was
well.
great. Yeah,
Really enjoyed.
I really enjoyed the chat we did in VR chat, the podcast. So it was nice to get you back on and give you the chance to speak to the people in the UK and around the world. Power On, obviously, the ginger dude.
Sorry, do you just wanna let us know where people can find you?
Yeah. You can find me mostly on YouTube. That's the main place that I upload content. And my channel is SA Podcast. The channel is SA Podcast. I think if you search Stty, it is going to
Yeah.
appear.
It doesn't
as
appear
well.
now.
Okay.
Uh,
So SA Podcast, and what I do there, it is 3 times a week. I invite people to have a conversation, but only 1 time a week I do it in English. So every week I do a conversation with someone in English in VR chat, and it is like we don't have a specific topic. We just chat a little and read a chat, and the chat participates in the conversation. Today I am going to have the sale devs in the live stream, and it is going to happen. I don't know how to say the time because of time zone and stuff, but it is
What?
going to happen 4 hours from now, 3.5 hours from now. the
Okay, so that'd
podcast.
be that'd be like sort of 12. That'd be like 12 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
I think we're 4
Okay.
hours behind you. No, no, we're 3 hours behind you. Yeah. So yeah. So if you're in England, it's SA Podcast.
Yes.
And you've interviewed me. You've interviewed Surge. You can probably interview
Yes.
Power on VR at some point. I do not believe that will be a
Yeah,
bad thing to do.
absolutely.
He's a nice guy.
if you fancy it, I will make myself available, my guy.
Okay, definitely. And I want to say something in live stream because I think it's something important to say. When I
Okay.
started my channel, I really didn't know if it was going to do well or not. I risked getting out of my job to start the channel,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'm in the grind right now, just trying so many different things and sticking with the podcast, and now learning game development. And I've done another channel, and if someone that is seeing it wants to make someone sum up this thing or anything really in our life, just think about I watched Mac before I got my VR headset. This was 1 year ago, and now I'm here talking with him. I watched Surjical a little bit and get in contact with him, and he just accepted it. So something if you want to do something, if you have an objective, something you want to do and you really love it, you should at least try to make it, because you never know. I thought Mac wasn't even going to respond to my message. Yes. No, he wasn't even, like, see it, and like in my mind he had like 4,000 million zillion messages every day, and he wasn't going to see mine because it wasn't something important. And when he saw my message, it gave me a confidence boost to get in contact with another persons in Brazil and outside of Brazil, and it is going really well. So
Good.
yeah, if this
I'm really
serves as
glad.
an example of something you want to do, I would be happy to tell you the story.
That's
Because,
fine.
yeah.
Thanks for that. I'd forgotten that you'd mentioned that. on the same vein, right? This happened to me the other day. So somebody from Live, who is the mixed reality, the guys, everybody knows who Live is. This guy reached out to me and he said, "Hi Mac, I'm a big fan. I work for Live. I'd like to do a Discord chat with you." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool," because obviously I love Live. And what the guy said to me was he was selling RVs in Texas. And he got a Quest and he wanted to use virtual desktop. So he watched one of my virtual desktop videos and he said, and it was like, it's similar to what Stty said. He said, "Your video changed my life." And I was like, "How?" And he was like, "Well, I got into virtual desktop, then I started using Live. And now I work for Live and I don't sell, I hated selling RVs. That's like recreational vehicles. I hated selling RVs. He says, now I work for Live. He says, I'm like living my VR dream." And said, "And it was you that made that possible for me." So that kind of blew my mind a little bit, because you forget how much you love VR. And I just I love VR. And I'm like, Surge loves VR. You love VR. PowerOn loves VR. And it's like, you forget how enthusiastic you are. You think it's like, oh my God, my channel's doing this, my channel's doing that. But you're actually influencing people. And, when Stty reached out to me, I was like, yeah, I'd love to come on your podcast. Not because I want to become a massive ego and promote myself. It's because I want to help other people. At least you're from Brazil. I was like, oh, Brazilian VR. I wonder where that is at the moment. And then we talked about it on the podcast. It was really interesting. And this guy from Live called Cosmotron, he was like so enthusiastic, and he was like, well, you were a part of that. And I was just blown away. So yeah, this community is amazing. It is amazing. And like I said, when I went down to Soul Assembly a couple of weeks ago, which I don't think I've mentioned before, I met Mike, who's like my ultimate hero. Like Mike from Virtual Reality Races, he's my ultimate hero. He's the guy who, I was watching him and I was like, I can do that. And I met him, and he was such a nice guy, and he was like just an inspiration. So yeah, if you love VR, I mean, because we're talking about people who people are in the chat, like Clickster, MoBeast, Daysnetic, Dr. Oculus, Eyes on VR, all these people. Rezol, Paradise Decay, Get Well Soon Son. All these people are in the chat who are into VR, and they've got these channels. It's going to change their lives. It's going to change their lives, because VR is going to be massive in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. VR is going to be massive, and we're right now at the forefront. So all of us making this community, I'll never forget Stty. Obviously, I met Surge through playing Population 1. We do the podcast together with PowerOn. These people will be your friends for life, even though we've never actually physically met. So if you want to buy some teledildonics, I'll send some little...
Well, if you've used them before, it will be like we're physically meeting, isn't it?
So yeah,
second-hand items, yeah, lovely.
So yeah, Stty, never be afraid to reach out. People in the VR community are beautiful, beautiful people.
Just so that I'm pointing this out for Stty as well. If you type in Stty into YouTube, your channel is actually the 3rd ranked search. So you can search Stty, or you can search SA Podcast, and both will come up pretty quickly. But yeah, check him out, man. Obviously, a lot of our listeners, our watchers, are going to be English, so you'll only be able to watch, say, about, I think it's about a third of your channel at the moment. But yeah, it's interesting stuff. If you want to see more of Surgy Boy, he's on there. I was watching that earlier today.
Me? Oh yes, I was a guest a few weeks back. Yeah. It's funny because just quickly, I think I went. Stty reached out to me. I think I went into Sty's, and Stty went onto mine. Then I went onto the council's corner, podcast, and I thought, oh, Stty would be a good guest. So Stty went into theirs, and then they went to Sky. It's like everyone's shagging each other. It's like incest.
Like a big old circle jerk.
Yeah. A circle jerk of podcasts. And then saying that, we've got Clickstron in 2 weeks.
I don't. Did I ask him?
Well, you said.
Now, he's on.
Clickster, if you didn't know, you're on in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, mate, yeah,
Sorry, did I let the cat out the back?
I think I asked him. I'm not certain, but Clickster's got some big things coming up. I think so.
Cool.
Whether I actually asked him or not, or whether I got lost in what he was talking about, I'm not certain. But either way, hopefully we're going to have Mr. Fun with the Clicks on in 2 weeks. Because I've been wanting to have that guy on for a while. He's a really good guy. So yeah, look forward to that in a few weeks, people. So I think we're closing out now. We've obviously seen where Sky can be found. Mac, where can we find you?
You can find me at MacinVR on Twitter. You can find me at MacinVR on Facebook. And you can find me on Discord at MacinVR # something or other. But the link is in the description anyway. So just go down there.
Mr. Surge / Indie VR. Where can we find you, my guy?
No, I am Indie VR, one word, on YouTube. On Twitter, I think there's 2 underscores, Indies __ VR. And yeah, pretty much you can just go in anywhere on my channel. Like all the links will be there on my page. So check it out. Yeah.
And you can find me at PowerOnVR on YouTube, or you can find me on PowerOnVR on Twitter. I don't think so much on Facebook anymore. I think for some reason they shut down my account on there, which was a bit annoying. But then I wasn't getting much from that service anyway, same as with Facebook as a whole. And lastly, if you like your short form stuff, then I'm also PowerOnVR on TikTok. But that's a lot more of that is just sort of silly stuff. If you want more serious stuff, then stay on YouTube, which I think is pretty much a good life lesson on the whole.
It is. So, power on. I'll see you later. Sergi, Indy, I'll see you later. Stty, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, mate.
Thanks
Hopefully you can come on. Yeah, we'll get you back on later on during the year, next year, sometime like that. MacinVR signing off.
It's been lovely, ladies and gentlemen.
Lovely. See you later, Stty. Bye.
Later, boys and girls.